Hello, I'm John Dawson from the Community Shares Unit, which is based at Cooperatives UK. So the Community Shares Unit has existed for over 10 years now to support communities to raise finance, to invest in community projects and to raise community shares. So we provide advice, guidance, technical support, and we can even provide development grants and investment to help people get share offers off the ground. So community shares are unique to cooperative and community benefit society organisations. They're a way of raising community investment, but also excitingly, they're a way of building a movement underneath your organisation of active and invested and committed individuals who support what you do. So since 2012, over £230 million has been raised across the UK in community shares from individual investors. And that's people buying shares in projects that they care about, things that they can see in their neighbourhoods, from pubs, libraries, shops, multi-purpose hubs, sports facilities, all sorts of different types of organisations and assets behind them. And when you buy a community share, it's a form of crowdfunding, but instead of making a donation, it's actually making an investment. You become a member of that organisation. And it's a very democratic and cooperative model in that it's one member, one vote. So if one person buys £100 worth of shares, they get one vote. And if their neighbour buys £1,000 worth of shares, everyone still only has one vote, but they have a say in how that vital organisation and services and assets might run in their community. Yeah, so one of the great things about community shares is that you have to go out and stand up in front of your community and you have to convince them of your plans. And usually when people are running a share offer, they've already done a lot of consultation and speaking with people, so they know that there's support for what they want to do. They then create a share offer document and a business plan, and they're out there talking to their community, encouraging them to invest and get behind a project. And by doing that, they're putting their own neck on their line. So they're pretty confident that what they're doing might work and they want it to work. And the share offers, when they've succeeded in raising that money, they then go on to provide a service that's really valuable locally. But the people who've invested, it's in their interest to keep trading with that organisation, to keep visiting that organisation, to keep supporting it, to make sure it survives into the long run. And what we've found through research is over 92% of organisations who've raised money through community shares are still trading, which compares really favourably with other types of startup organisation, which after 5 years have a much lower success and survival rates. So I think some of the challenges of using community shares is general awareness of it. It's not a model that's as widely known, perhaps as other forms of finance, like using grant funding or loan finance, but it is a model that's on the rise, and we're seeing more and more communities and more different business models exploring and using community shares. It's not a straightforward thing, so you do have to talk to people. You have to understand what the needs are and what the interest is in your community. And once you've done that, you have to go through a process and having a proper campaign of raising awareness of the share offer and making people aware of what your proposition is and getting those investments over the line. But it's something that is really valuable, and we often find that it's quite a unique form of finance that people struggle to fund some of these projects with loan finance or debt finance or grant finance alone. But once people have done a share offer, they go through such a robust and rigorous process of developing those propositions that they put out to their community that suddenly they're a lot more investable by loan funders, and suddenly for grant funders, being able to see that a huge number of people locally have put their own money in is really great evidence that there's support and backing for the project, rather than just a grant application saying, we think this is a great proposition, please support us. They can actively say, we've had 350 people put their own money into this proposition. That's why we think it's brilliant. And that's what we tend to find, that the community shares can often snowball for other backers to come behind a project. So often community shares is part of a wider fundraising strategy of bringing in other types of money as well. I think for a lot of people, just an initial inquiry and exploration of, what is the model? Where can we find out a bit more? We've got loads of resources online. We've got an increasing number of case studies and stories to inspire people. We have lots of the technical information and guidance available online. But what people are really looking for is just to sit down with someone who's been there and done it and who knows how this kind of stuff works, and they can gauge whether it might work for them. So what we have is some early stage support. We call it pre-grant support. That's really easy to get hold of. You just fill in a short form online and we can put people in touch with a skilled and expert practitioner They've been on our training, they understand community shares, they've worked on other share offers, and they can sit down with an organisation and help to work out some of the milestones and steps needed to plan out to see whether this might be viable before perhaps moving ahead with further steps on developing a share offer. If they want to go down that route, then we can provide development grants to help people set up all that they need behind the scenes of a community share offer. But when people want to launch a community share offer, there's obviously a process of community consultation and understanding how much they might need to raise and how viable it might be to raise that amount. And what people tend to need to look at is developing a business plan. And as well as a business plan, which can be quite long and lengthy and maybe a little bit dry, but it has all the details in, people often create what's called a community share offer document. And so here's one here of a currently live share offer from Bramley Baths in Leeds, which is an Edwardian swimming pool. And they're seeking to raise £350,000 of community investment to fix some of their vital infrastructure within the building, including fixing the roof. So they're looking to raise community investment to sit alongside some wider funding that they're looking at to really fix up the building and make it fit for the future.